Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Bart here. I hope you guys are doing okay. Fine, working in the shop again, and in between customer jobs I found some time again to work on this Okuma LS Japanese lathe, and it's a really nice machine, but I didn't find a lot of videos about it, so I thought it's nice to share a little series where I work on this lathe and share my adventures. So I already did part 1 with the inspection and first check, but now I want to clean up the lathe a little bit, and cross slide is quite stiff and the handles are not so nice, so I want to fix that. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys, so let's get to work. So my dad came over and he wanted to help me a little bit cleaning the lathe. So after a few hours it looks a little bit cleaner. So thanks Dad. And cross slide was still running quite stiff, so I decided to take it apart. I didn't film the taking apart part, but here you can see the cross slide is removed. One thing is interesting is the lead screw. The bearing in the back is adjustable. The tension, it's running in an oil bath, so that's good. So there shouldn't be any play in the lead screw itself. And the nut, the brass nut, there are two, and there are fixed with this wedge here in between. And so if you pull this one up, they will press outward, and then we'll remove any backlash. So if that one is adjusted correct, then there shouldn't be any backlash. About the wear, the grips are not in a really good condition. You can see still some scraping marks on here, but also some grinding lines, and in here you can see it's quite worn down, but I think it's not too bad. So I will just clean everything and put it back together for now. The nut feels quite solid. Can't feel any play in there, and the back one as well. This is the drain plug from the oil bath of the cross slide. It's a little bit hard to reach from underneath, and it has a square head. It looks more like a plumbing job than a high quality lathe. I'm not sure if it's original, but hey, it works. So let's put it back together. So if you take off this cap, you can adjust the lead screw bearing. So I can't find hardly any play in the lead screw and the bearing, so I will leave that adjustment as it is. So the apron has two oil systems. One is a plunger pump that's inside, but that one is triggered if you move the carriage, and the other one is the hand pump on here, because if you use a lot of parting off or only use the saddle on the same position and don't move this one around a lot, then there won't be enough oil for the waste, so then you have to use the hand pump. But normally it's automatic feed by moving the carriage around. So we'll see if that works. So there's a adjustment knob in here. You can see a tiny red dot, and if you loosen this screw you can rotate it and see a yellow dot. So if you align the red one, it will open the oil lines to the cross slide. But I ran into a little problem. The pump does work, because as soon as I start to move it around a lot, I can see it starts dripping, and the oil on these lead screw for the power feed and thread turning and the waste, I'm not sure if they get oil, but at least they do. But there is no oil coming out on top here on the cross slide, and I tried to adjust different settings on this little knob here, but nothing changed. I tried running the lathe, so nothing changed. So I did remove the plunger pump. This little pump in here. So I will try to pressurize the system, because maybe the oil lines are plugged. No luck so far. Let's check the manual. Still no luck for the oil, but I won't be catched by one hole. That's probably only a few Dutch people will understand. know what to do, guys. When is the point to stop? Eventually, the only problem is that there isn't going any oil to the cross slide, so it looks like that if I have to fix that, I will have to take the whole apron and saddle apart, and I think that would be end in a complete restoration of the machine, and I'm not willing to go there at this time. So maybe I have to decide to go for a manual oil system. So these are the gips for the cross slide, but I think they were worn out too much because somebody welded an extension on there and didn't do a really good job, and I think that was the reason why it didn't run or move smooth enough. And also this one is in the front of the cross slide is also put on an extra piece welded. So I'll clean this up a little bit. I will make new gips in the future, but that will be a future more restoration project. Even with a cross slide I will scrape it again, I think. I already did some scraping practice, but I don't feel confident enough to start with this machine yet. So future projects, for now just clean these ones up and then mount it and see how it runs. So for a temporary solution for the oil of the cross slide, I made a new pin, replaced this one and made a new one, drilled it all the way through, put an O-ring here in the back, it's in here, and set screw to hold it in place, hook it up to a tube and a hand pump to pump some oil in the system, and that works quite alright. So every time I run the machine I hand crank it one time and it should be plenty of oil. It's coming out here and on the waist, so yeah, for a temporary solution it works good enough until I open up the oil apron and maybe check the oil pump, but that will be a project for the future and not for now. I want to have this machine running again. So this cross slide wheel has an interesting brake construction. These are two rings and they have a taper hole and a tapered screw that works as a wedge. So these are put in here and then the screw will open up and give a brake on the surface. So not everything goes according to plan. I had this one nicely polished and mounted, but it was on an angle just a little bit and I was annoyed by that. Tapped it with a hammer, but the thread in there was so weak that it came out. So I had to drill the pin out and make a complete new one. But it is nice to see how it works inside, because there's original maybe a plastic sleeve, or I don't know what kind of material, but I use brass. Just a little sleeve in there, and that is held in place or with a screw, or original I think it's just a pin with the ring and then hammered, but this one just fits in here like this, and then it still can rotate but is fixed like that. So yeah, took me 2 extra hours, but at least I will be able to mount it straight and with a new thread. So it runs pretty smooth again, not perfect, but a lot better than it was before. It will get tight in the end a little bit, but I think this is further than you normally would go, because then also here the system will open up here. You don't want that. And on the other end, this runs fine, but also on the other end gets tight a little bit, but I can have the whole range, so that's good. So there's around 0.3, maybe 0.4 millimeters in backlash, but yeah, that's fine by me. I don't want to have the system too tight, because it will wear a bit more. So yeah, I'll leave it as it is, and I'm happy with that. Yeah, happy with that, guys. Hope you guys do too, and enjoy this little video to share this adventure with this lathe. I'm happy the way it turned out. I had to be a little bit patient to clean everything, but I'm glad I put the time in it. You guys are lucky, because I put like 25 hours in it and you get to see it in 25 minutes. But hey, somebody had to do the job. So next step will be working on the saddle and the apron, see how that works and see how clean everything is and if I can improve it a little bit. So there will be part 3, but for now that was it for part 2, and I hope to see you next time. So bye bye, guys.